All right, we are back with another film review. Sorry, I'm messing with the mic here, so it might be rumbling a little bit. Sorry about yesterday. I'm hoping this works, and I won't know if this works or not until after I get all these recorded again, and then try to post. So I might be wasting my time. I might not be, but couple things before we get started, right? So I am gonna if Tennessee fans find this, they're gonna do what they've done pretty daggone good, at least on the Twitter side of things, of finding a way to take things out of context. And before I continue, first let me say this: in person, especially walking to the stadium, I got there around 3-ish, 3:30-ish. Really just wanted to walk. I wanted to experience Knoxville. Wanted to experience around the stadium because going to the stadium is one thing. I want to be able to experience it as a whole. As some of you may know over on Twitter, my goal is to go to all 16, well, soon to be 16 SEC schools, and absolutely had a blast. I did not run into a single person where I was just like, you got to be kidding me. Had multiple conversations. And when I say multiple, I don't necessarily mean two or three. Like, I had a handful of conversations with Tennessee fans that had the mixture of we can blow Carolina out, or it can be an extremely close game because they weren't sure about a couple aspects of their team, which is something I pointed out Friday evening of why I thought Carolina could win, right? It's just they did not execute as well as Tennessee did. It's quite literally that simple. Um, but what a lot of people or let me rephrase it this way because I have to be better about rephrasing it so my words don't get taken out of context. Right? What I personally believe is while that game ended in a 21-point loss, and you have to give Tennessee all the credit in the world, and we're going to. I'm going to show you a couple things that Tennessee does, both offensively and defensively, that you just have to give them credit because on tape they have not consistently done those things in a couple of those areas. So we'll show that, but that game was closer than what fans on both sides want to admit for the longest time. However, I will agree that it always seemed like a distant close game because you could never really get over that hump, and the offense didn't necessarily show that they could. However, they moved the ball here in the second half because that's what we're going to show you is the second half because we've shown you nothing but first half, couple first drives for the Gamecocks, and first half offense hasn't really been an issue for Carolina. It's always been the second half. So we've got 4 drives for you here. Like immediately coming out of halftime, we've got 4 drives that we're going to show you, right? And the defense, and this was something that we put out on Twitter as well and in an article if you read it. The defense had 6 consecutive drives, 7 if you want to count the one before half, where they held the balls to 10 points. And man, that got some Tennessee fans all wound up. Or wound up. Good grief. Got them all wound up. Oh, well, good job. You allowed them to score 41 points. The context of the whole point of that 6-7 drive series where only 10 points were allowed, I believe 3 of them on the defensive side were given here. So Tennessee goes and scores right before half. After this, you don't see Tennessee go and score again until defense is just the morale is completely gone. I'm sure they're exhausted because I don't think the defense really got any type of rest at all. So you had chances in this game, and they were close. And if you take now, obviously this is a 21-point deficit at the time, but you go and score here. We all know what this play is. I'm going to go ahead and get it out of the way really, really quick. But when you score here, or even before Tennessee scored, it was a 14-point game. However, ladies and gentlemen, and again, if if you haven't been here long, I am not one to bash players or coaches. There's a reason that they're here, and I'm in front of a camera here. Or the coaches are there, and I'm in front of a camera here, right? I didn't understand the throw the ball on 3rd and 22 in the slightest. And when that pick 6 happened, immediately, and I'm almost positive I wasn't the only one. I said that's going to loom large at some point in this game. That's going to be either the reason why you couldn't get over the hump, or it was going to make it that much more difficult. And in these 4 drives, what you're going to see is they go and score, which they answer this call. Which if that pick 6 doesn't happen, you only have a 7-point game if they score. But the whole point of the whole 10-point thing was this game might be drastically different if it's a 7-point deficit coming out of halftime, right? It might be different if once Tennessee goes down and scores coming out of halftime, you're only down 14. Because you go down and score, you might make it 7. So a lot of things happen here, and South Carolina kept shooting themselves in the foot. And you're going to kind of see that here. A lot of the issues that I saw that were very uncharacteristic from a couple of the guys were in the first half. But I got the rant out of the way. Let's go watch plays because that's what y'all are really here for. So this first one, you all know what happens. Mario Anderson is just a freak, right? And something that I will admittedly admit, I did not think this young man had that. I knew he was fast. Did not think he had breakaway speed. And that was in full motion or full speed, full time, because I wanted y'all to see just how quick this man gets through that hole and he goes. Sorry it's a little jumpy and glitchy there, but he takes off. But I want to point out something. Please watch Lee and Trevon. This is the best combination block I have seen from anyone thus far or this far this year. And if you watch it, it's going to come up here in just a second. Boom. Look at this. Watch these two here. This is Lee. That's Trevon. The best combination block that I have seen. They are going to get him out of the way, and Lee's going to push up, and you are going to see the biggest hole that you have ever seen this year, in my opinion. And look at this. Woo. And then gone. He does the rest, right? But see, like it's just things like this that make you scratch your head and just like you're capable of doing it. Look at Nick gets to the next level. This combination block is perfect. It's perfect, right? You do everything you're supposed to do. And I've had this discussion and I've had this, we're going to call it an argument with several people that for whatever reason think Loggins wasn't a good hire. Ladies and gentlemen, calling the plays is one thing. And I will admittedly say there were a couple times I was like, don't agree with that one. But at some point, we have to give accountability to everybody. Not just coaches, but athletes. When you execute, look what happens. This is a very good defensive line for Tennessee. Very good front seven for Tennessee. Drastic improvement from this front seven from the University of Tennessee from last year to this year. And it's like I said, you have to give props to Tennessee. But this is what happens when you execute. You can call a play. When you execute, it does great things. But then we move over to the second drive here. Your defense gets a stop. So as you can see here, it's 31-17. Now, what this says to me is, I'm trying to remember this play for just a second. Oh, the means you're still in the game, right? You still have your chances in the next 3 drives that you get. Tennessee does not score. This first one, I believe, is yes. This leak out here is an old reliable for you. They just run it with Simon instead of Knox. Really nothing to go over there. It's something that Carolina has gone to over and over and over again, and it's worked. Let's see here. Again, gonna try to do this live. Trevon got beat pretty bad. Trevon had a rough game, ladies and gentlemen. And again, to be expected, right, from a freshman in this type of environment. And I've said it before, and admittedly, I did not want this environment here at Tennessee to be good. Ladies, it was. I think I definitely wouldn't have wanted to been in the seats because they just look so cramped up. But the environment as a whole from the press box looked awesome. You have to give that. But Trevon here had a pretty rough game, and he gets beat across across his face relatively quickly. And again, kind of going back because I'm gonna point something out here in a second that I'm sure all of you are gonna absolutely love. It doesn't matter who the running back is. It happens to be Mario. Good luck beating that when 2 yards in the backfield, there's a defender. Mario winds up falling forward a yard or two, and that's what has made Mario extremely good this year. And why he is shown he should be quarterback one or running back one. This here is just another good job by the offensive line. And you finally get here. I think that was like his third catch. I'm going to get it. Boom, boom, boom. Bam. The pocket here is beautiful. You can't ask anything better. And that's Mario in there in pass pro, which he has gotten significantly better over time. And you're able to hit Legette. And I'm not sure if it shows the replay of Legette here or not. I had to cut some things up hoping they would let this slide and let it work. It does not. All right, very good. Oh, this is the one where I said Mario's being Mario again. Just continuing to break tackles. I'm curious to know that number of what he's at this year. But something else that I saw here from the press box, from my vantage point, and again, I wish it had a different angle here. Because, again, it's not fair to make any kind of speculation or assumptions, especially when it comes to running lanes from this perspective. Now, like the one that we saw from like the all-22 or from the end zone perspective, that's where we can it's not really speculation, we can call it out, right? Here, I am kind of curious, and I didn't really stop it in the best of places, and I'm going to attempt to. So right there, he kind of sees his backer coming in. And if you pay attention here, and again, who am I to say anything? Because he winds up getting like 8 or 9 yards or whatever this is. But a little lane comes up here. I'm curious if he does somehow cut this back, if it turns into anything. Again, you cannot be mad at this. I'm okay with this because Mario is just Mario. Just something I've noticed. There's been a lot of backside cuts, or not necessarily backside cuts, but there's been different cuts that could happen throughout the year. And this was another. All right, so here, before I say anything, you do this twice in a row here, if I'm not mistaken. You bring Omega across, and in my opinion, you just kind of crowd the box more than it has to be. There was a couple times during this where I kind of asked myself, why are we motioning this guy here? Several times, Legette was one-on-one with safety help, but safety was near the middle of the field. And then you motion another receiver over there, and the safety goes over, and now you're high-low, you're bracketed, and it's just you don't have that same matchup. Was confused about that a couple of times watching that. But here, this isn't a recipe for winning. So this is gone. So he is now forced to cut back. And if you watch, there's no movement. There's none. And this defensive line did an extremely good job with this. Even with the inconsistencies on this offense, before we show the next play, even with the inconsistencies with the offense, at some point, you got to just get angry and be mad that we got to do something. Get some kind of push. Our team needs 1 yard. 1. You had 2nd and 1. And you don't gain a yard. in 3 plays. At some point, ladies and gentlemen, it's about wanting it, man. I don't see a single person that wanted it on this offensive line in these 3 plays. You don't. The previous play we just saw, there was no movement of the line of scrimmage, and we had someone get beat. This one here, if I'm not, there's that motion I'm talking about again. Nothing. Just there's no movement, and this one I'm not gonna put this on Mario. You kind of see about right here a hesitation, if you will, because he's paying attention to Wanamaker and that. If this is cleaned up just a tad bit, he probably doesn't hesitate. But another thing that I'm just confused on, why do we have these two come in here and not down on this end? Which makes it a little bit harder as well. But he has a little bit of hesitation, and Mario doesn't get that full Mario strength to be able to run across it. And then you're stuck at 4th, and then watch this. If I have to be able to pause it completely perfectly. If this does not sum up your offensive line as a whole, this season, and this kind of just goes and shows again, you got a man sitting there. He's having to hesitate because he's watching the linebacker. He hesitates just the slightest here, and he does this little quick step that he just doesn't do, and doesn't have the same power to get to where he needs to. But this is what I want to show you. If I can pause it, because SEC did a great job of putting that logo. All right. The ball right here is snapped. Let me do the best I can to zoom this in. The ball right here is snapped already. And if I can move it just a fraction, boom. Look at this. Here and here. These two move before your guards move. And your center is getting stalemated. 4th and inches. 4th and inches. And this is, again, this is not bashing this offensive line. You just saw this, and I'm moving over here for whatever reason. You just saw this play, and it happened. In 3 straight plays, you could not get a yard. At some point, you have to want it, man. At some point, when do you tell yourself as an offensive lineman, this ain't it? I've got to do something. I've got to get some kind of aggression, because you as fans, we as media members can blame coaching all we want. At some point, you have got to be able to gain a yard and get some kind of push. 3 plays, and this has been the most frustrating part about this offensive line, because the very first drive we showed you, they created a hole anybody and their mama could have gone through. But then here on 3 straight plays, there's nothing. Nothing. There is no push whatsoever. At some point, when are we going to wake up as an offensive line? When are we going to wake up as a collective group and play mean, dude? Show me some aggression. There's too many times that I watched in this game where Spencer Rattler had to go and tap the offensive lineman on the head. Hey, we get it next time, Bubba. We're good. We're good. Don't worry about it. Let's continue to push on. At some point, you got to wake up. You got to wake up. So then this next here, I think this is the 3rd drive. And something else I want to point out as well. Let me come back over here because I just don't like that sound. First and foremost, this, again, goes back to the old phrase that some of you don't like hearing. Some plays, it just don't matter who's at running back. And heard this in the press box even as well. And again, if there's anything you need to know about me, I will pride myself on not bashing the coaching staff or the players. It's not my place. I am going to make a living just showing you what needs to be better. There's a difference between constructive criticism and trashing somebody. What you see here is a perfectly great timed call by Tennessee's defensive coordinator with a corner blitz. Not only is it a great call, this guy times it up perfectly. And to add insult to that injury, because we can live with a great blitz called with perfect timing and then just you go make a play. What we can't live with is Bubba right here, Wanamaker, getting beat across his face and allowing two people to hit you before you even get to the goal line. And you're going to see two different views again, or two different angles where you just see it. And you see Wanamaker getting beat across his face, the perfectly timed blitz. You can live with one, you can't live with both. So instead of saying, why the heck was Joyner in this game, you should be happy the man didn't get tackled for a loss in the end zone. Again, just and here, what's happening here? I'm trying to remember. Is this the? I think this is the almost safety. Yeah. Oh, y'all. This shouldn't be a surprise to you anymore. And again, I love you, Bubba. I believe this is Lee. Yeah, Lee, I love you. I love you a lot, and I think I don't know how many times we've shown this. Playing offensive line like this, you're going to lose 11 times out of 10. You are. You pick up the stunt, you see the stunt coming, but we're so far, we are playing so far over our toes, and we just reach here, or all it takes is a little shove off, a little swim move, and you're looking right at the ground. There's that. So, again, it's just the execution, man. The execution has to be better. Now, this one here, before I'm going to let it get to a boom. Pause it. I don't know who to give accountability to here. So I'm talking as we just talking, right? Here's Xavier Legette down here. I saw this in the box and said, best chance he's had all day because he's got his man on him here. But then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 people that are on this hash and over. Legette has, or Legette, as some prefer me call him, has all this area to work with. Surely, this is where you have to go and look. No, we never even look over here. Not once. So again, I'm not sure with the play call here. And again, I don't know if this is hey Spencer, go make him win or what it was. Great catch by Omega Blake, by the way. Good one-hand grab. But when I see this and he doesn't even get looked at, it's rough. It's rough. And then boom, and Carolina did give up a field goal here in this frame, I believe. Yes, they did. This last one here, something, again, as the game progressed, you kind of notice a bit more. Look at the splits here by the defensive ends. And they continue to get wider. And you're going to see them even take a step out even more. It gave your tackles a hard time here. And Tree just doesn't get out quick enough. Spencer winds up making a good play. Spencer made quite a bit of moves with his legs Saturday night. and give them that credit. But those wide splits got the best of Tree, um, as you can see, and it just can't get out quick enough. And that's nothing against Tree. Man's a freshman. 19 had himself a heck of a game, and has or the defense for or the front seven for Tennessee has had a pretty daggone good year. And again, they're just showing you different angles here. Again, there's nothing Tree can do. That's just going to come with time. Now here is something I saw this here, and then again I'm still hesitant to say anything because I making speculations here. When there was a chip to be done by a tight end or a running back, they weren't helping Tree. They were helping Wanamaker, the right tackle. If anything, I think that is a testament to Tree where they're like, hey, we trust you enough, try and go make a play. And every now and then it just don't work out. It is what it is. It happens, right? I need to hurry up and wrap this up because this is a whole lot longer than I wanted it to be. But wanted to show y'all a couple things there. I thought, apparently I didn't edit this one. It is what it is. So y'all are going to see my boy Carolina Faithful here reply to it. So I love this empty set a lot because the one guy I'm going to pay attention to is here. And depending on what he does is going to be my next move as a quarterback. And I believe he winds up dropping off. In this play here, Knox has to win, right? Or I believe this is where it's supposed to go. This linebacker just does an extremely good job of not letting there be space. And it don't help that we're getting beat once again on our inside here. So again, the play call was there. You have to give credit to that linebacker because they did that all game, ladies and gentlemen. You did not have much separation at all from the receiving standpoint. And it made it a little bit tougher for Spencer. And again, it's going to show you a different angle. I love this angle. He's going to get beat inside, and you just can't. We're playing over our toes again. Trevon gets beat again as well. It is what it is. Let's go. Hurry it up. Let's see. What's this? What do you dial up on 2nd and 17, by the way? Just out of curiosity, if you're an offensive coordinator, you got a clean pocket. Again, this is what is so frustrating. You go from one extreme to the next. You go from just the simple, fundamentally sound stuff not being there to you got 5 seconds to throw the football. You got to love it. You absolutely got to love it. Apparently, I did not cut this one up at all. This ball's got to be out, Spence. Here. Saw that in the press box as well. This ball here, I know it doesn't look like this. This doesn't look open. If we put it on him, especially if we put him on his back shoulder here, he's good. You get a first down, in my opinion. Mario does a good enough job getting that. So can't be too mad about it, but I think that ball's got to go to Knox. Yep, I did not cut this one bit. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. You did the uncutted version. This was the how on God's green earth did this not get picked ball. When I tell you everyone in that press box thought this ball was picked, and I thought, why in the world is Trey Knox running towards the end zone? And then so on this play here, sorry about that, had camera difficulties as I'm sure y'all are going to see. This play here, you did a lot of this, a lot of condensed formations, a lot of bunch formations, and typically the reason for that, in my personal experience or my personal opinion, is because you don't necessarily quite have a guy that you believe that can consistently go in. So you have to scheme open, right? Now, if you're going to see again, I want you to watch because I pointed this out just a second ago. Look where the chip is helping, and look who gets left out on the island. Now, again, Tree's going to get beat here, and the split's just wide. And again, I can't hate it at all. I mean, the effort's there, the want to is there. It's just that's going to come with time, man. But the chip is getting helped here, which if you should be able to sending your chips and sending your help to the freshman tackle. So that's never really a good thing. That the freshman is the one that's left alone. Now, something I did notice, and again, I wish I had the full view here. I think this is a hitter, by the way. This guy's gonna come out here and just kind of come on and out. This guy's gonna come on a flat, and this guy's gonna come here. This safety's got all eyes right here, and then he's gonna just back out of the screen, and then this DB fights through to catch this flat. If Spencer has any time, I think you got a hitter. It just didn't work out that way, and he's kind of forced to take a sack. Or I'm not going to say take a sack. He wasn't forced to be sacked. And then, yeah, you're just going to see here, look at these wide splits. They figured that out about Tree. And if there's anyone that I don't have a doubt in my mind will fix that, it is definitely Tree, without a shadow of a doubt. I don't think. Yeah, I believe this is Mario. Oh no, good pickup by Mario though. This is a solid play. Good run. Good blitz pickup there by Mario Anderson. Again, he's done a tremendous job of getting better at that week in and week out. And then your fourth down play here, which, or not fourth down, sorry, your third down play, you don't get it, and then you go to kick the field goal to try to still give yourself a chance. But this play works if Spencer Rattler has time. And I'm going to show it to you. So what's going to happen is this. Leggett is going to do what's called a deep over, a dover, if you will. And it's going to come. It's going to be there. Spencer Rattler just doesn't have any time. Because, and again, it's a bad angle, and I know you guys can't see it, and I do apologize about that. If I could get my hands on all 22, I would. But, and I can't guarantee this, I'm not. These two here are going to settle and sit down on Knox, especially number 6. I believe that's number 6. And Xavier Leggett is streaming across here with his guy on his back. The issue is Nick's getting beat like a drum, so Spencer's got to take that off and take off running. And essentially, as I step on a dog bowl, it becomes irrelevant. So, all that being said, and sorry this took so long, but I really wanted to go through this so you could kind of see how frustrating it actually is, because your offensive line would do something that was great at one point, and then the very next play they turn around and it's like they forgot how to play football. Your offensive line goes from creating this massive hole to not being able to create enough push to gain a yard on 3 straight plays. It's aggravating, and I get it. I understand it as a fan base. You want to see a consistent product put on the field week in and week out. I get it. And it's a saying, I can't remember who said it. I think my boy, Brooks Austin, for those of y'all that may or may not know him, he does a lot of national stuff too. Y'all should definitely go check him out. It's never as good as it seems, and it's never as bad as it seems. And when I heard that, this was the definition of that, especially when it comes to the defense, which we're going to get to here in just a second. But the chances were here. The chances were here for you to come back and do it, but it was always just that little bit lack of execution, not being able to gain a yard on 3 straight plays. Your best receiver running a yard or a route a yard short on a 4th down that allowed him not to get it. There was another one that or another guy that did or another receiver that did that as well earlier in the first half. There's just little things here and there that you move the ball, guys. You can move the ball. It's just on those 4th downs and 3rd downs you didn't win. The offense has to figure out something. You have to find a number 2 really, really quick because now, from what I saw in this game, Xavier Legette had his one-on-one opportunities up until you motioned somebody over on that side, and then he was either bracketed high load or just the Tennessee played good defense in that secondary. And it part of the reason why the offensive line had their struggles because they had to block for longer than they probably would like to. So with that being said, all this to show you that we've got to start putting accountability everywhere, not just on the defense, because your defense gave you chances. You had 4 drives where you were within 14 points, and then 1 when you were within, or 3 when you were in 14, 1 when you were within 17. And you make it a 14-point game here because you kicked the field goal. So you had chances, you had opportunities. You just didn't take it. That's all we have for the offense. You will get defense at some point today. Don't know when, but you go get it. Y'all have a good one.